It's true, McFarlane Toys Shrek is back. How very, very exciting. Hello, my fairy tale things, Austin here with a very off-the-cuff video. I really didn't have time to get ready or do anything because I was out of town today for 8 hours at a place with no internet. And of course, the moment that happens, the Shrek fandom explodes at this announcement that I'll put right here. McFarlane Toys, out of nowhere, just randomly posting, hey, tomorrow morning pre-orders open for our new Shrek action figures. And everyone's like, what do you mean new Shrek action figures? It's literally been 15 years since we've had Shrek action figures. The last real traditional figures were Shrek the Third. And McFarlane Toys themselves, they haven't made anything Shrek related since 2005 when they did a very limited Puss in Boots figure, but that's besides the point. So let's talk about these figures. I just want to give my quick off-the-cuff thoughts on them. I think there's some good. I think there's some bad. I think the good far outweighs the bad. So let's just talk about what I like about them. These are 12-inch figures. They're big, and I think that's neat. I'm actually glad that these are not 6 or 7-inch figures. And I saw in the comments a lot of people were confused or disappointed that they weren't 6-inch because right now in the toy industry, 6-inch is kind of the hot thing. Everything is 6-inch, and these are 12 inches. And they're not compatible with the original Shrek figure line. But I think that's a good thing because there's an aspect of these figures that is very unappealing, and that's that they are pre-posed figures. And McFarlane Toys was very clear about that in their social media. They are pre-posed, meaning they have no articulation whatsoever. So these are very loosely action figures. They're more statues, or I guess you would say staction figures. And I don't mind that. I think they are a fine collectible. And I've said before on this channel that I am not a huge fan of statues. I feel like statues fall apart in my hands. These are plastic statue action figures, so they are very durable. Like, you can look at these and they look like they could take some rough handling or a fall or two and they would be okay. I actually noticed things like Shrek's ears look very thick here. They're not as thin as they usually are on figures, so they have a very chunky, almost toy-like look to them, and I think that's kind of charming. Another thing I really like about these statue figures is how much they look like the characters. I've reviewed the Culture Fly Shrek figures on this channel. I actually have another Culture Fly Shrek video coming out very soon after this one. And all of those figures are very stylized and very chibi. And it's so refreshing to see a figure of Shrek that actually looks like Shrek with his proportions. Shrek is once again chunky, like that's my boy. So that is refreshing to see. I also like that these are aimed at the adult collector market. This kind of conforms what I've been speculating, and that's that Shrek right now is being positioned as an adult collector enthusiast brand. There's been a lot of Shrek merch in the last year, and none of it is aimed at the kids market. It seems to be shot glasses, earphones, collector tin lunchboxes, and I don't mind that stuff. I'm okay with that. And finally, what I like about this is it's a step closer to those Shrek figures we really want. We all want fully articulated, detailed 6-inch figures. And while this may be not quite that, it is a stepping stone there. I personally think that Dreamworks is holding back, or Universal is holding back. I don't think they're gonna release high-quality Shrek action figures until the build-up for Shrek 5. I think this is kind of like a holdover, an appetizer, if you would. And I almost think these figures are somewhat subpar on purpose because it has been so long since we've had a Shrek action figure, especially if you're a casual collector and don't have an obsession like this. The general public has not been able to buy a collector Shrek figure literally since Shrek the Third, so there is a lot of pent-up demand. Literally anything Shrek will sell at this point. The Culture Fly figures are proof of that. Those are not great figures, but they consistently sell out at Box Lunch and Hot Topic because the demand is there. So I do anticipate these will sell out very quickly. And I wish there was a bit more of a heads up with the pre-order. I do not like that McFarlane just said, hey, these are going to be up tomorrow morning. Like, give people a heads up. There's no price listed, but I imagine they'll be pretty expensive. They're both, the Dragon and Shrek are both big 12-inch figures. I don't know, maybe $50 a piece, $60 a piece. The Dragon is definitely one I want to get. I'm not so sure on Shrek, but Dragon does look quite nice. And being 12 inches, it actually makes Dragon a bit taller than the original McFarlane Toys Dragon figure. And I think if you're looking to create a Shrek figure display, and maybe this Dragon can complete that display, maybe this will be the 2-scale Dragon that you want. That original figure of Dragon is really expensive on the aftermarket and is very undersized. So this is going to be a much more affordable and maybe a more screen-accurate way of getting Dragon into your collection. So while these are not 6-inch Shrek figures, maybe we can get a good Dragon out of this. And when the Shrek 5 action figures inevitably release, we can display them around that awesome Dragon. Shrek I'm not so sure on. I'm really just not feeling this figure, and I kind of looked at it for a while and tried to figure out why, because it is a nice, movie-accurate, detailed Shrek. It's literally what I've been asking for on this channel for a year now. Why would I not buy this? And then I looked at the existing McFarlane figures on my shelf, and I realized that the pre-posed McFarlane figure seems to use the exact tooling of the original 6-inch Shrek figure. Specifically the chase version with the closed smile. Like, it literally is the exact same figure. You can even look closely, check out Shrek's shoulder on the preview image, and you will see where the articulation in that original tooling was. Like, the sculpt is not as smooth as it should be. Shrek's vest and shoulders should blend a lot more with the body. But he almost has a chunky, robotic-like appearance because that sculpt was engineered with articulation in mind. So that's kind of a shame, a bit lazy of McFarlane Toys corporate as a whole. I don't know if that was a corporate decision or Todd himself, but that's interesting. So that was kind of the good and bad of these figures. I would say good is the fact that they exist at all, and that Dragon actually looks pretty solid. Bad that Shrek looks a little eh. And that as a whole, these pre-posed figures are a little bit of a scam. Now, McFarlane Toys has been releasing a bunch of these pre-posed figures. They did like classic movies and stuff like that. So maybe this is just a one-off, like here's the Shrek pre-posed figures. But I don't know. I think we may actually get some more characters out of this. Todd McFarlane himself, the guy, not the company, he has a vested interest in Shrek. He designed the original Shrek toy line. He even worked on the Shrek video game and designed some of the Shrek characters. This isn't just a random license like the Goonies, where he would just make a single figure of it. It is something that is personal to him. And McFarlane kind of goes in circles where he likes to revisit older figures and remake them, especially with Spawn. So maybe this is kind of like his way of doing that, like revisiting Shrek and improving on the sculpt, you know, improving at the sacrifice of the articulation. So maybe this is just a big vanity project for Todd McFarlane and it means nothing. Or maybe, you know, maybe this means McFarlane has the Dreamworks license and we'll see more collector-oriented Dreamworks figures. I mean, I'm not too excited at a pre-posed Shrek figure, but I would definitely buy pre-posed figures of the Prince of Egypt, the Road to El Dorado, even some more obscure Shrek characters like Death or Fairy Godmother, characters that really wouldn't sell in a children's toy line sold at mass retail. But it's definitely interesting, right? It's better than just the endless amount of pop vinyls and little collector figures we've gotten. Like, here's an actual, real Shrek action figure release. I mean, I think some retailers like Entertainment Earth and Big Bad Toy Store are gonna get this tomorrow, so that is very exciting. Now, if you're watching this video not the day it's up, then these are probably already sold out. That's how these things tend to work, but I have a feeling this is just the beginning of a bright future of collector Shrek toys, and I will be there to unbox and review them, and that will be very exciting. So that's enough of me rambling. Let me know what you think in the comments. Are you excited at the prospect of a McFarlane Toys Shrek line, or are these releases just kind of mid? Let me know in the comments, and that's all I got for today. Have a happily ever after.